Hi everyone, Tony again. People ask me many times, and this is a very difficult question to answer accurately, but what's the most important thing in a self-defense situation? And you know what? The most important thing many times is only known in hindsight, but I do believe that there are certain things, attributes that you need to do constantly, okay? Remember in the past when you were a little kid and your parents would say, look both ways before crossing the street? Well, you know that many times you probably didn't look both ways and you crossed the street and you were okay, all right? Nothing happened. But does that mean that that advice wasn't sound? It's very good advice to look both ways. So when it comes to any sort of fight, there's a lot of buzzwords out there, okay? And we all fall victim to using these buzzwords. I do as well. But one of them is awareness, okay? Now, while awareness is really important, you have to have a little bit more than just awareness. You have to have an acknowledgement and an assessment ability as well, okay? Classic case in point. You may go somewhere. This is not even a street fight analogy, but you may go somewhere, bar, restaurant, your friend's house. You're obviously aware of where you're at, but do you acknowledge everything? Do you remember that there's a painting on the wall, or what all the brands of liquor were across the back of the bar? Probably not. You're not that in tune, okay? You're not really assessing everything that's happening. And in a street fight scenario, the biggest thing to me, even though we say the word and I use the word awareness, it's assessment, okay? You have to assess and process all this information of what's happening, and you have to do it, boom, really, very quickly. And I think this is something that a lot of people tend to overlook. And you're going to have to make quick judgment calls. And sometimes you may not make the right call. I mean, none of us are impervious to making mistakes. We may not make the right call. And therefore, I just hope that everyone errs on the side of caution, that you do that you don't bring yourself personal harm at that point in time by perhaps underreacting. Now, by no stretch of the imagination here am I saying to consistently and constantly overreact. No, that's not sound advice, and that's not the advice I'm giving you. But it may happen that you overreact. It may happen that you underreact and suffer some sort of a serious injury or something worse than that. So you have to practice awareness, and you can do this without getting into a street fight, okay? Just start looking around wherever you're at, okay? And just maybe you're at home right now, or you're in the office, or wherever you're at, and really start looking at things and looking at details, Here, for example, you may have a friend and you visited that friend for years. You know how to get there with your eyes closed. But maybe, just maybe, you don't really know your friend's address. You did at one time, probably the first time you went over there, but you don't remember the address anymore. You become unaware of things like that. You become unaware of all the streets and the names of the streets that you pass to perhaps get to his or her house, right? And this is kind of like, I'm not trying to make it a comical example, but it is a very valid example of how, you may be aware of how to get to your friend's house, but you're not assessing every little detail along the way. And in a fight, and in a street fight, in a potentially deadly encounter, man, you have to assess everything, okay? In colder climates and icy conditions like what we have here, one of the first things I assess when I see that there's going to be trouble is what kind of shoes does this person have on? Is there a good chance that this person can lose their balance and slip and slide? All right? These are just like little assessments. And of course, I always make my physical adjustments, which I'm going to cover in a hopefully in an upcoming video soon, on how you should stand and all of that, and stance and how to keep your opponent in front of you, but you not being in front of your opponent. All of these things are critical, but they all come from assessing things first. So make that the buzzword for today. How to assess the situation, see the bigger picture, and do it in a mock scenario. You can practice this, without obviously having to get into a street fight. Watch somebody. When you're out in public, pick a stranger out and watch how that person moves, how that person stands, how that person is acting, and just think, make a visual. How would I handle this if this person came at me? Okay? I do this all the time with people. I look at the size, especially like in the summer if they're wearing shorts. I look at the size of their legs, their ankles, and so on. Because if they're a big, gigantic guy, I'm always thinking about what kind of submissions, if it got to that, would I use? Is he slow? What kind of strikes would I use? And whatnot to end this fight quickly. So start practicing this. And as I said, you can practice this 10 times, 20 times a day if you're out in public, and no one will even know that you're doing anything. Okay? You guys have a great one. Thanks for watching.